Certainly, there is something about ancient texts that hold a certain atmosphere of mystery and the unknown. Ancient books and artifacts are often naturally mysterious, demonized, or misunderstood to those who are too afraid to read them. One such example is an artifact named the Codex Gigas, or more ominously known as the Devil's Bible, an enormous and foreboding book that is feared to be scribed with the aid of Lucifer himself. You may call me Miss Lovely, and these are my legends and lore. The Codex Gigas, or the Devil's Bible, at the National Library in Stockholm is reputed to be the largest surviving European manuscript. At one point in time, it was considered to be the eighth wonder of the world. One of the mysteries of the Codex Gigas legend is the identity of the author. Legend has it that the Codex was created by a monk who sold his soul to the devil. The Codex Gigas is the largest extant medieval manuscript in the world. It is also known as the Devil's Bible because of a large illustration of the devil on the inside, as well as the unsettling legend surrounding its creation. Weighing over 165 pounds and at over 3 feet in length, the Codex Gigas lives up to its name, which, in Latin, literally means giant book. It is thought to have been created in the early 13th century within a Benedictine monastery in what is now the modern Czech Republic. It contains the Vulgate Bible, as well as many historical documents all written in Latin. During the 30 Years' War in 1648, the entire collection was taken by the Swedish army as plunder, and currently is preserved at the National Library of Sweden in Stockholm, though it is not normally on display for the public to view. During the study of the manuscript's text, investigators noted that the book uses only one type of ink, which is made from crushed insect nests. The style and font of the calligraphy is consistent throughout, leading the investigators to believe that the manuscript is the work of one scribe rather than many. The text's lettering is believed to be self-taught due to the lack of sophistication. The team also felt that the scribe must have been rather gifted, even if they were an amateur due to the devil's portrait. The experts estimate that the Devil's Bible would have taken a minimum of 25 to 30 years to complete. The pages are allegedly made from the skins of 160 donkeys. According to the Codex legend, this disturbingly beautiful text sprang from a pact made between a doomed monk and the devil himself. According to one version of the legend that has been historically documented during the Middle Ages, the scribe was a monk who broke his monastic vows and was sentenced to be walled up alive inside of a chamber inside of the monastery. In order to forbear this harsh penalty, he promised to create in one single night a book to glorify the monastery forever. According to him, the book would also include the entirety of all human knowledge. Near midnight, he became sure that he would not be able to accomplish this impossible task alone. So he began a special prayer, not addressed to God, but instead to the fallen angel Lucifer, asking him to help finish the book in exchange for his soul. The devil completed the manuscript, and the monk added the image of Lucifer out of gratitude for his assistance with the impossible task. In tests to create the work, it is estimated that reproducing only the calligraphy contained within the pages, without any of the illustrations or embellishments, would have taken 5 years of non-stop writing. Many would say that it is impossible that one man could have written the complete text alone. Yet in recent years, an investigation team of scholars sponsored by National Geographic finds supporting evidence that the Codex was the work of only one author. The contents of the Codex Gigas include the entirety of the 2 written Hebrew alphabets, as well as added pages including the Slavic and Glagothic alphabets. About half of the Codex contains the entire Latin Bible in the Vulgate version, excluding the books of Acts and Revelation. They are presented in the order of Genesis through Ruth, Isaiah through Daniel, Hosea through Malachi, Job, Samuel, and Kings, Psalms through Song of Solomon, Wisdom of Solomon, Wisdom of Jesus, Esdras, Tobit, Judith, Esther, and Maccabees. Also scrawled upon the pages are various medical texts, a sort of derelict encyclopedia, a calendar, magical spells, and a text on exorcisms. The text is heavily illuminated throughout, meaning that the pages and letters are adorned with various decorations, such as miniature illustrations, ornate borders, stylized letter designs, and decorated initials, all colorfully highlighted in red, blue, yellow, green, and gold. The book features beautiful and detailed illustrations, including one of the Kingdom of Heaven, contrasted by the infamous and ominous illustration of the devil. Adding a sinister twist to the prominent devil illustration is the presence of several pages leading up to it that are visibly blackened in eerie contrast to the other pages of the book. Adding to the mysterious and often unsettling nature of the Codex Gigas is the fact that around 10 pages have been intentionally removed over the centuries. Although the exact purpose of the removal is unknown, it has been theorized that the removed pages might have contained information that was deemed too dangerous to fall into the hands of mortal men, or that they were simply found to be too offensive to some long-ago owner of the book and removed at their request. The book was pledged to the Sedlec monastery after originally being housed by the Benedictine monks in Trudem. In 1278, Henry, the abbot of the Sistine monastery in Sedlec, was sent to the Holy Land by King Oktar II of Bohemia. He returned with him a small amount of earth that he had removed from Golgotha, the site of Christ's crucifixion. He sprinkled this earth over the abbey cemetery, and the news of this pious act soon spread, and the cemetery in Sedlec became a desirable burial site throughout Central Europe. The Codex Gigas was kept in the library of a monastery in Brmov until it was taken to Prague in 1594 in order to form a part of the collections of the Emperor Rudolf II. In the mid-14th century, during the Black Death and after the Hussite Wars in the early 15th century, many thousands were buried in the abbey cemetery. Because of this, the cemetery had to be greatly enlarged to accommodate the new arrivals. The ossuary, now commonly referred to as the Bone Church, is estimated to contain the skeletons and remains of between 40 and 70,000 people, whose bones have been, in many cases, artistically arranged to form decorations and furnishings for the chapel. The ossuary is among the most visited tourist attractions of the Czech Republic, attracting over 200,000 visitors yearly. At the end of the 30 Years' War in 1648, the Codex Gigas was stolen by the Swedish army as plunder. From 1649 to 2007, the manuscript was kept in the Swedish Royal Library in Stockholm. Notably, on Friday the 7th of May, 1697, a fearsome fire broke out at the royal castle in Stockholm, and the royal library suffered very badly. The codex was rescued from the flames by throwing it out of a window. The codex apparently injured a bystander and some of its pages fluttered away in the wind, still missing until this day. Throughout its history, the Codex Gigas has accrued a reputation for being cursed, bringing misfortune, disaster, and disease to all who have dared to possess it. Indeed, the destruction of its original home, as well as the fire at the Royal Swedish Library, have been attributed to this dark curse. As of now, the National Library of Sweden, where it currently resides, has managed to avoid a similar fate, but it seems that only time will tell the ultimate fate of the establishment. The Codex Gigas is certainly one of the most mysterious, intimidating, and obscure ancient texts in the world today. What was the impetus for its creation? Who was the author, and how long did it really take them to complete the book? Why were pages removed from it, and where did they go? What happened to the pages that were lost during the fire in 1697? These are questions for which we may never get the answers. But for now, all we can do is marvel in awe and wonder at the bizarre history of this mysterious and often spine-chilling artifact while speculating about the secrets and stories once contained within its archaic, mystical pages, of which some are now lost to the dark and consuming abyss of time. Monster hunting is a hard job, but somebody's got to do it. Miss Lovely's Legends and Lore is written, performed, and produced by me, Elizabeth Sweet, also known as Miss Shadow Lovely. If you would like to support this show, you may do so on Patreon at patreon.com/legendsandlore. You can also follow me on YouTube at youtube.com/MissShadowLovely and youtube.com/MissShadowLovelyDarker, or on Twitter at MSShadowLovely. Music for this series is provided by the ever-talented and wonderful Muji. Thank you for listening, and remember, there's a flame inside of all of us, and darkness should fear the light.